Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Black excellence, black beauty, and black pride. Black power from all diasporas coincide. Progressive truth and regression eventually collide. May the beauty of the people no longer be set aside. May the black queen's grace continually mesmerize the millions who couldn't see it when looking into her eyes. And the black man's plight no longer be the disguise. Oppression, emasculation, they wanna castricize him. Take him away from the black queen, put him inside prison for slave labor, he institutionalized. Wondering on the outside, is she willing to ride? Is she willing to ride? Is she willing to fight for the love, even despite the fact that he doing time? Love that conquers all will never fade with time. If she don't choose the love that appreciates every life, his flame might get dim and he may eventually.
The Urban Impact Show is sponsored by Green & Wood Media Services. Green & Wood uses digital media to help businesses, political campaigns, and organizations grow while increasing their community impact. Green & Wood Media is pleased to offer a digital media buying fellowship to train, develop, and mentor young people interested in digital media, politics, and advertising. Learn more at greenandwoodmedia.com. Welcome to the Urban Impact Show, where we are live from the studio. We are excited to be continuing our conversations with candidates. And a reminder, it is so important for you to go vote June 7th in the primaries. Even though that's my son's birthday, I'm going to go vote on June 7th. Early voting also, you can do that as well. Wednesday, June 5th? June 18th is when early voting starts. Okay, so May 18th, early voting starts, just to let you know. So you have no excuse. So for those of you that turn into the Urban Impact Show, we've been pushing for you to vote. So again, I am your host, Dewana Bradley.
And I am Brittany Dudley.
And we are so excited today because we have Eddie Morrow with us here. Thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we're going to kick things off, y'all, because we promised that we would get as many candidates that would be on the primary to have conversations with us. So we're going to just kick it off first, give you a few minutes to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having me. I'm Eddie Morrow. I'm running for the Iowa House and House District 30, which is a South Side precinct or district. It's a new district that encompasses all the South Side area, from 63rd Street all the way to Southeast 5th. It's an area that I know very well. It's a place where I raised my family, where I've been a teacher and a coach, where I built a business. It's where I go to church. It's where I've invested a lot of time and energy, and it's a community I'm hoping to represent in the State House.
Okay, wonderful. So talk a little bit about the why behind what you're doing, because I know I've seen your name on the ballot before, and I think it's a testament to continuing, even when things may not go your way. So talk a little bit about the why now, why this moment, why this matters to you.
Well, it's a great question. Thanks for asking. So my whole life has been spent in service and giving back to our community. I learned at an early age from a Catholic nun named Sister Joanne Morrow to speak up and speak out against injustice, against inequity, against wrongs in our community. And I've tried to take that into all my activities, whether it's been as a teacher and a coach in the business world and working as a community organizer in the community. And I think it's important that we have people at the State House that also have that same energy, that same fight, that want to have a seat at the table, that can go up and speak up for our community in as many ways as possible. And we got a lot of challenges out there.
Yeah, Brittany.
So what will, quickly to our viewers, what will your 3 main priorities be if afforded this position?
Yeah, so right now, at the top of my list right now is education. At the State House, we're seeing education defunded, devalued. I'm on the advisory council at Lincoln High School. I'm in talking to teachers and administrators and students, and I see the despair. I see teachers that are wore out. I see students dealing with mental health challenges, and they don't have the resources or tools coming out of a pandemic to meet their needs. And then we're seeing the fallout of what's going on with education, what's going on in our community with young people and the activity that's going on. You're seeing that here in Des Moines, but you're also seeing that around the country. Yeah. We're seeing what's going on in Buffalo and what's going on in Milwaukee over the last few days. And a lot of that is the root of what's going on in our schools, in our community.
Yeah. So talk a little bit to our viewers. So one of the things we talk to our viewers is being Black voters and going out. And right now we're seeing a lot of things happen in our world that at this point is, I think, beyond depressing. Seeing individuals who, just to take example for in Buffalo, where we just seen an individual, 18 years old, who was nervous about people like me taking over the world, go into, a shop filled with people who look like me and decide to take innocent lives. There are people who look like me who just don't believe their vote matters or that their vote counts. And they feel like every time something happens and we turn on our TV, something is happening. So what would you say, specifically speaking, to Black voters out there?
Well, first of all, I want to apologize, because the reason you don't think your vote matters is sometimes the Democratic Party, and we need to do a better job. We do a good job of showing up around election time. We do a good job of coming out and asking for your vote, and we've under-delivered, we've underperformed, and we need to do a better job. You need to have allies, accomplices, and siblings that are really going to stand and sit along the side of the Black community and fight for them in the classroom, in the business community, in the neighborhoods, and really demonstrate that their vote does matter, and we need the vote. You need to vote. On the flip side, your vote matters because of what's going on in our country. More hate in our country. That young man, 18 years old in Buffalo, learned hate, and he's learning that from other elected officials that don't speak up loudly enough. And some of them are elected in the state of Iowa. Our governor, our U.S. senators, some of our representatives right now don't have the backbone to stand up and speak up loud enough, boldly enough. They'll whisper, and they're good at whispering, but we need some bold voices today to go out and stamp out the hate that we have in our communities, and we'll all benefit from that.
Yeah, great. Brittany, you have another question? All right. Well, I want to ask you, too, just a little bit about just thinking about going into this election and things that are coming up, and want to kind of just show people that you're a human being. And so tell us something interesting, an interesting fact about you. I know we talk about the serious stuff, and we can be serious about this, and we know elections are serious, and I know, you have an opponent as well, but just let's get something interesting, just an interesting fact about you that people may not know. Wow.
So you know that I like pasta, probably. You know that I have twins. You know that Rob Johnson and I are kind of brothers from a long time ago. When we were in the neighborhood together, people can't tell which one's our mother. So from an interesting standpoint, I love my kids. I got twins. Yeah. I'm enjoying watching them grow. I'm working hard with my daughter, who's going to get married this November. So good luck, Mia.
Congratulations to your daughter.
And do it cheaply, though, please. But no, thanks for having me today.
Yeah.
And you're right. We need to put a humanness to what we have going on, because we're all getting wore out. We're tired, and we need to make sure we look at the human element of who we all are, and make that a part of the work that we're doing.
Exactly. Well, we've got just a few more minutes, and so I want to give you those few minutes to talk to the voter about why they should vote for Eddie Mauro.
Well, again, thanks for having me today. And I'd be honored to get your vote and support. And it's very important, and I know the show reaches along this whole county and actually around the state of Iowa. So wherever you're living, wherever you're at, make sure you go vote for candidates who want to go support the Black community, and that have demonstrated that they've stood alongside the Black community, whether that be in the streets in 2020 and the work that's going on yet today. I do a lot of good work still with Urban Dreams and with Creative Visions, people that really want to find the root causes of how do we help our community come together. Do we stamp out inequality in every form and shape? That we're going to make sure we're going to fight for justice for everybody in our community. And that's why I'm looking to the community to look to me, and I'd be honored to get your vote and your support.
How can our viewers find you on your social networks, your email?
Yeah, so eddiemorrow.com is our website. You'll find our Facebook page, our Twitter feed, and everything else there at the website, eddiemorrow, MAURO.com.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Eddie, thank you so much for being on the Urban Impact Show. And a reminder to you all, we don't take a stance on any candidate that comes through here, but we think it's very important for you to make your own informed decisions. So, Eddie, again, thank you for joining us. And we're going to take a short break. We will be right back with the Urban Impact Show.
Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. I am co-host Luana Nelson Brown, and we are back. Yay! So excited today. I am with still Dewana Bradley, and this now, so excited. It's Megan Srinivas, right? House District 30, running for House District 30. We are so happy to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm just so excited to be here with you all today.
Me too. Megan and I have known each other, but we've never met in person. So this is we
actually serve on the Supreme Court's Access to Justice Commission together for 4 years now.
Yeah.
And somehow we're always like in the different rooms not at the same time. We're at different tables.
Absolutely.
But I feel like we're always like, yeah, I agree with what Luana has to say. Right. Yeah, Megan and I are going to take this on.
Exactly. We're going to do this, even though we've never met in person.
And we push them to get stuff done.
Yes, and they have absolutely, we have absolutely gotten stuff done. So I'm so excited to have you.
To be here with you.
One of the many reasons that we asked you to join the Urban Impact Show, and one of the many things that you do. So my first question, can you tell us a little bit about you and not all of the things you do, that take the whole time, but many of the things you've done, because this isn't your first run either. So tell us a little bit.
So I grew up here in Iowa. I went to Fort Dodge growing up, public school all the way, K through 12, and then even University of Iowa for medical school. And I've been involved in the community in some form or another since I was a little girl. We started a nonprofit actually when I was in 3rd grade to help marginalized populations, specifically people of color and domestic abuse victims who were not getting access to the things they needed. And then it turned into an effort in trying to get other kids involved in volunteering in the community. We had a connection out with some orphanages in Kenya for a while too, worked with the World Food Prize to establish all of that. And then I actually also served on the State Board of Education under Governor Vilsack, and then kind of continued all of that work when I went to college and started a nonprofit where we were working on getting health education out to inner city students that the public schools just were not able to afford to do their health education anymore.
Right.
And so it was really kind of those experiences that exposed me to the whole world of healthcare and what was missing, especially for people of color, people who don't have privilege and income and the insurance that so many others do in this world. And so it's what pushed me into becoming a doctor.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We didn't even get past college. So that first nonprofit, is it still operational?
So we still have high school kids that have continued to pass it down year after year. The Hoover Library Foundation out in West Branch has helped to give us grants to continue to sustain it. Prudential, the insurance company, actually helped to give us grants back in the day to help sustain it too. So it's a nonprofit effort that just keeps on going, and
I love it.
You know, it's been a really beautiful thing to see other people kind of get involved and take over and get into the world of serving because of exposures when they're young.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it. That's amazing. So I met Megan for the first time at the Inspiring Women event. And we were having a little get together, and she's such a personable person.
Yes.
Like when you meet her, you feel like you've known her all this time. I'm like, we just met, but you feel like you've known her for such a long time. But I was reading a little bit about you, and I know that health is very important to you. And can you just talk a little bit about that passion behind health and why it matters, for people in certain communities to make sure that they're aware of their health choices and that they're taken care of?
Yeah. So health really touches on every aspect of your life.
Yes.
If you're not healthy, you can't work.
Right.
You can't feed your family.
Right.
You can't lead a life where you're actually doing the things that you want to do, something that you actually have quality to. So health really is so important in every aspect. It comes down to housing. It comes down to food security. It comes down to transportation. And my work is always focused on all of the factors that influence health.
Right.
Instead of just, I'm going to write you a prescription and send you out the door.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter if you come to me and you can't afford that prescription.
Right.
Or if you're worried about how you're going to pay your bills or how you're going to feed your family, then what I'm doing for that half hour in my clinic means absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
And so it's really that fact, the fact that in my clinic, I can't do everything I can or need to help my patients.
Yeah.
That's what pushed me to run for office.
I love it.
We can change so many of these systems, these inequities at the House level, at the state legislature level, where it's really, those are the shackles that are keeping so many people in the state behind.
Yes.
And we spend more money every single year in our budget on healthcare than anything else. But yet there's not a single physician anywhere in our state government making those decisions.
Wow.
Meaning life and death policy is being made by people who have no understanding of it.
Right.
And as a fallout, we see what happens to Iowans every day.
Right. Right.
And I want to change that. I want to stand up for my patients, our community, our neighbors.
Yes.
I want to tell them how this is actually impacting Iowans and make sure I'm at the table to fix it for Iowans.
Right.
I want you at the table. If anybody's there, I want you there.
Oh, thank you.
I know that you did a lot during COVID. Can you tell us a little bit about what that looked like for you?
So of course I was seeing patients and I was still educating. So I teach both university level and medical school students. Yeah. So I was still doing all of that and still doing all of my research. I work a lot with the World Health Organization. We're trying to figure out ways to overcome the challenges of the pandemic to still getting people access to reproductive health care.
Right.
And then in the setting of all this, I just noticed so many of my patients, so many of my friends really had no idea what to do during COVID.
Right.
And so I started going to social media and using that as a platform, which then turned into me writing articles for different newspapers, different magazines throughout the country, and then eventually the world.
Right.
Interviews, just trying to do anything we could to educate people. We actually started a nonprofit as well. So a lot of my patients can speak English.
Right.
And so we started a nonprofit to get basically information about COVID into short animations out to people who don't speak English and in a way that's tailored to different cultures, not just the mainstream culture that we all have gotten so used to seeing, something that's relatable to people of color.
Yeah.
And so we've actually created about 24 videos. We touched on everything from vaccines to how you can keep yourself and your family safe, to mental health during COVID.
Right.
And actually, we just were a finalist for the LA Film Festival with one of our films.
That's so exciting. Oh my
That's
God.
great.
It was kind of cool.
Congratulations.
It was
Yeah.
completely out of left field when that happened. But the
Right.
biggest thing to us is we saw a difference in people being able to access information. We put it into 3 different languages, spread it all over, first the U.S. and then actually UNICEF worked with us to get it all over Latin America too.
I love it.
I hate to stop us because it's like the party just started, but it's got to come to an end. So, Megan, I want to give you just about 30 seconds to talk to the viewers about why they should vote for you.
Yes.
So the basic thing when it comes to just choosing who you're voting for, it's about knowing it's somebody you can trust, somebody who's going to always be there to have your back. And I've proven that since I was a young age. But it's also about looking to see what they're doing now. I'm lucky enough to have so many relationships because of the work I do, between holding vaccine clinics for so many of our communities here in Des Moines, to working alongside Reverend Rob Johnson, who has endorsed me in this race, as well as Akeo, who's endorsed me, and even Al Wambo, who leads the Black Caucus, who's endorsed me. So it's having those partnerships and making sure that we can tap into them so that way we can make the world a better place. And I want to work with each and every one of you, continue to do what we've done, but make Iowa better than it ever was before. Because we're at a time where if we don't turn things around, we could be looking at disaster.
Exactly.
But we can stop that pendulum and make the world 10 times better if we move it in the right direction. But it comes down to you voting to put the right people in office. And I would be honored to have you vote for me, Megan Srinivas, on June 7th.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much. Now, one more thing, because I said that was it, but one more. We just need to know how to contact you. If people want to look at your website or follow you, how can they contact you?
Or donate.
Yes. I'm going to take you everywhere with me.
I'm going.
So it's my website is Megan and then the number 4 Iowa.com. And then you can also look me up on Twitter, Insta, as well as LinkedIn at Megan for Iowa or at your local ID doc. It's also on Facebook as Megan for Iowa, as well as my normal name, Megan Srinivas.
All right. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Having me. This has been such a blast. Thank you.
Absolutely. House District 30, Megan Srinivas. We'll be right back with the Urban Impact Show.
And everybody, welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. I am one of your hosts, Rob Johnson.
And I am Brittany Dudley.
Brett, hi.
Hello.
Hey, everybody, we're live from the studio in Windsor Heights. This space is available for booking. If you call or text with questions, 515-996-0326. Thank you so much for watching. Please take a moment real quick. Press that share button. Press that share button. Press that share button, because we want to make sure that this information is getting out there, because the decisions of the people that you see today will affect your lives or your children's lives or somebody you know life. Trust me on that. Even if you go to the grocery store, some of the people's decisions that happen that will be sitting in these seats during this time before June 5th, their decisions will affect your life at some point. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree.
Yeah, we got Miguel and Lil Richie and Elias, and, Kenyatta, still growing up, we got
a lot of people's lives.
That was a dig at Kenyatta for those who don't know. So we're super excited to have Polk County. So y'all just saw we had Iowa House District 30 candidates in the building, and now we're switching to the Polk County attorney's race. Here's why this is important. I like to explain. So, if you are paying attention, please understand that when you go to the box to cast your ballot, if you live in House District 30, you will have to choose between one of those two candidates on the ballot. You will also, in House District 30, have to choose between the Polk County attorney candidates that will be on the ballot as well. Here's why. Because those Iowa House candidates only represent one district within this state. Not this city, not this county. They represent one district within the state. They're called Iowa House Representatives. Then you have Polk County Attorney. So then the Polk County Attorney represents the entire county of Polk. That includes Ankeny, West Des Moines, parts of Waukee, Clive, Polk City, it even stretches, I believe it stops right before it gets to Indianola, right off, which goes into Warren County. But the people that you see today stretch from all the way to Ankeny, all the way close to Waukee. So I need you all to pay attention, no matter where you are, no matter which house district you're in. I need you to pay attention to what we're going to be discussing. Great. I'll throw it to you.
All right. So you want to start off and telling us a little about yourself before we get into more of the other questions?
Sure. So first of all, thanks for having me very much on the Urban Impact Show. I appreciate it. My name is Kimberly Graham. I'm running for Polk County Attorney. And the reason that I'm running is to end racial and income disparities in our justice system and create healthy, thriving, safe communities for all of us. So that's in a nutshell why I'm running. As far as kind of my background, I feel the cough coming on. My background, I've been an attorney for about 22 years now. I've spent a lot of that time earlier in my career doing court-appointed criminal defense work. And then the last 10 years or so, I've focused more on juvenile cases. So I represent abused and neglected kids here in Polk County. I also work in the Polk County Recovery Court Program. So I represent the kids of the participants in the Polk County Recovery Court Program, which is a fantastic specialty court where we work with families to help them live lives in recovery, help them get their kids back in their care, and just get back on the right track. And I work with a team of people in that court. What else? I think that's in a nutshell, I guess, the most important stuff.
So let's jump right into it, because I want to be very serious. Like, the Polk County Attorney's race is probably, if not the most important race besides the governor's race on this ballot. I need you all to understand what exactly the Polk County Attorney can do. Kim, can you talk a little bit about the scope and the power of what a Polk County Attorney can do?
Yeah, I mean, what I say to people is all the races, of course, are important, but I would argue this is probably the most important race in Iowa this year, because Polk County is the most populated county. This is affecting a huge number of people. And the Polk County Attorney decides things like ultimately who gets charged with a crime, what they get charged with, whether there's sentencing enhancements added, whether they're offered a diversion program or not, whether they're offered a restorative justice program or not, whether to waive juveniles to adult court or not, whether to object to a reverse waiver to waive that direct file kid back to juvenile court. These are all decisions that fall under the purview of the Polk County Attorney. So it's just a critically important position. And the only real accountability here is the ballot box. It's not like the state legislature where other people have to vote with you, right? And you have to get a majority of votes before you can do something. No. Polk County Attorney has a scary amount of unilateral power. So their policies go. What they say, that's what happens. So you need to be really careful about who you elect.
So, Kim, I've seen your ads on social. I've seen your billboards and stuff. I've seen your yard signs. Can you tell us a little? So, it's not any secret that myself, I want to say this in third person, Rob Johnson, not the show. Rob Johnson, is not a fan of John Sarcone. I do not like some of the things that he has done, especially when it came to African-American people being prosecuted. I have seen places where we could have been more lenient on people who deserved it, and places where we probably should have went a little bit further on things only because their family had a little bit more extra cash to help with their situation, right? I've seen this with my own eyes. This isn't something that I've heard. I've actually seen it. And so with that, tell us how you would govern. It's different between running as a candidate and then actually having to govern when you get in the seat. Tell us, how would you, if elected, govern?
One thing that I want to mention is I do think it's important to notice how people run for office. I mean, that is different. Totally agree. But how someone runs may well be how someone governs. And what I mean by that is, how easily can you access the candidate you're trying to reach, right? How easy they are to reach. Where do you see them? Do they show up? Have you ever seen them anywhere? In your community? I think that's really important. As far as how I would govern, I mean, as I mentioned, the main goals here are, increase safety, have healthy, thriving communities, and end racial and income disparities. So those are all goals, all like on a level playing field. All those goals are equally important. And so in order to end racial and income disparities, we're going to have policies that will help that to happen. For example, what? For example, not charging for low-level drug possession anymore, especially marijuana, because that's one situation where Black people in Iowa have much higher, are much more frequently prosecuted for that. Yet we know that it's not, because Black people are using drugs at a higher rate than white people. Another policy that we are going to have is not to request cash bail for low-level, non-violent offenses. How does that help things? Well, that helps anybody who's living in poverty, because if those folks can't afford to, either pay that 10% or pay that cash bail, they're going to sit there in the Polk County jail. That costs all of us $67 a day, right? And then the person who was in jail is going to get that bill for $67 a day for every day they were sitting in the Polk County jail as well, that they're going to have to bail out of and work to pay that back. A lot of poor folks are never going to be able to pay that back. So it just creates problem upon problem upon problem.
So, Kim, as we're getting closer to the end, tell our viewers why you.
Why me? Well, as I mentioned before, I would say just it's important to know who's already showing up and what they've been doing the last several years. I decided to run for this seat about a month. It was after I ran for U.S. Senate before, about a month after that, and after the murder of Mr. Floyd in Minnesota. And after being out protesting alongside my friends for that summer, I didn't know if I was going to run for anything again. because I love what I do. I love what I do representing parents and kids in court. And to be blunt, running for office kind of sucks in a lot of ways. It's awesome to meet. It's awesome to meet so many great people. That part I love. I love going everywhere and listening to everyone and meeting more people and connecting with folks. But, you know, having to call everyone you ever knew to ask them for money, that sucks, right? And it's a drag and it's a lot of long days. And if you're like me and you already have a full-time job, now you're doing this on top of that. So, you know, pushing 70, 80 hours a week for a year, it's exhausting, but it's worth it. Yeah. And I decided, look, if not me, who? Mm-hmm. Instead of complaining about racial disparities in our justice system, I decided to try to get to a position of power where I can change it for at least for people here, almost 500,000 people here in Polk County. So that's what I'm doing. So I would say that's why me. And if you know some of the folks, you know them who've endorsed me. Luana Nelson Brown sitting right here. She's endorsed me. Pastor Jordan Raybon has endorsed me. Tiara Mays has endorsed me. And there's numerous others. You can go to our website, KimberlyForIowa.com. And you can take a look at our endorsement page to see who else that you know, that I'm sure there's others who've endorsed me, who've spent a lot of time with me, and they know who I am. So just elect someone that you know is going to listen to you, who's always going to be available to you, and who you know has the best interests of your community at heart.
And final question, how can people get a hold of you if after watching this, they want to support your campaign, give an endorsement, or make a donation?
Yep. Kimberly for Iowa, FOR, KimberlyForIowa.com. If you scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, it's our email address is there. You can shoot us an email if you want to get in touch with us. I'm really easy to reach on Facebook, probably too easy. Probably on there too much. But you can reach me on Facebook too. You can just either follow the campaign page, or you can just friend me on my personal page, Kimberly Graham, and message me there.
Thank you.
Well, Kim, thank you for running, because we need people who are going to push the system to run. You know, good luck in your race. Yes. We've seen the advertisements, and so good luck out there. Thank you so much for joining the Urban Impact Show. And we'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. I am one of your hosts, Rob Johnson.
And I am your other host, Luana Nelson Brown.
So as y'all can see, we have traded off. You had Dewana and Brittany for one. Then you had Dewana and Luana. Then you had Rob and Brittany. Now you got Rob and Luana.
Ah, very funny.
Oh,
He's just the most excited with me. That's what it is.
Energy level.
Anyway, y'all know he's the most excited with me.
So first of all, really quick, before we jump back in, I got to shout Luana out because she babysit little baby Eli, the Crown Prince, the other day.
I did.
And let me tell y'all, he didn't cry one time with her, which I am really shocked by.
I do.
I
was shocked. What?
Really
because
shocked.
I am a real mama. That's why.
I picked him up. I picked him up, and he was looking at me like, "Hey, Daddy, I kind of want to stay." And I was like, "You're going home, son. You're going home with your daddy."
Did not cry. Y'all warned me. He'll cry in the car. No, he did not.
And guess what he did with his daddy? He got in the car and cried.
He wanted to stay with me. Exactly. I'm the best TT.
I had to put Gracie's Corner on and everything.
see, so, because Lord, I'm the best TT. Yeah. Shout out to my baby Eli.
Yeah. So thank
and
her
whenever
for
you're ready, bring him back.
She is definitely, she has cemented her spot. He will definitely be back. So thank you.
Yep.
Back to our show talk. I had to do that real quick, but back to our show because we're talking about politics, man. And politics is so important because these people, once again, their decisions will affect your life. So you just heard from Kimberly Graham, who is running for a Polk County attorney, and now one of her opponents. I've only really seen these two, but they're
and they're both women.
Yeah,
just to say.
And I mean, y'all can holler at me later about it if you want to. Yeah. And so I'm always a fan of people who are running for office. Running for office is hard.
Yes.
Running for office is difficult. So we have the awesome Miss Laura Rome in the building with us, who is also running for Polk County Attorney. She will be on the ballot come June 7th. Early voting begins on May 18th, and you can go down to your auditor's office and vote. There has been some tricky laws and stuff in place, and so we're going to educate you on that as next Sunday as we go through those laws and stuff next Sunday. But Laura Rome, how are you? How you doing?
Hi, Rob. Hi, Luana. Nice to see both of you.
Nice to see you.
I actually shouldn't say this, but I got off the campaign trail for 41 hours, and I just got off a plane. So I spent some time with some girls in the family for a special time for one of my nieces, and it was good to. I just raced right here. So thanks for having me, and we're back at it now.
Hey, look, family first.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you, if I ever get a phone call where Eli needs me or something like that, I'm out. And I'm going to my nephew's birthday party as soon as we leave here.
Oh, fun. Always family.
So, family first, because I will leave this seat if my son calls. I will see y'all later.
It's true.
Yeah, no
I will
doubt
leave
about
my
it.
seat if your son calls.
This whole, let's be honest. This whole studio packing up if Eli calls. What's going on with Eli?
Right? It's one of us will be there.
Yeah, Dewana be like, okay, well, I would have to convince Dewana to stay and finish the show.
It's true.
Yeah, because she would be like, no.
Right.
Well, this is the easiest show to work with ever because it just ran so smoothly. Communication has just been great, and I was glad that I wasn't running. Thanks, Madison. I wasn't running behind schedule, or I could have come later in the month. But who wants to listen about politics during Memorial Day weekend? So I was glad to make it, and thanks to the two of you.
Thank you for coming.
So go ahead, Luana, kick us off.
Okay, so I was hoping you would, but I'll ask mine.
No, I got my question ready.
I have mine too, but I thought it was a good
then.
second one. But I've got to ask this because I really want you to say this to our viewers. You have the best explanation around hate crimes that I've ever heard. And the reason I want you to kind of give that explanation as shortly as possible is because 1/3 of all homicide victims in Iowa are Black. The Polk County Attorney directly affects whether or not people are charged, as you heard Kimberly say, what that looks like as far as prosecution. That would be you if you're in that seat. And right now we've had some hate crimes that we as the public believe are hate crimes, but they weren't charged that way.
We know which one you're talking about.
Yes, most specifically the Michael Williams case, who was lynched here in Iowa in 2020. And so to clear up some of that, because the community was very devastated by that, can you give us a little brief synopsis on what hate crimes look like in Iowa? And is there anything you can do to influence that in your position if you get there?
Yes, and I think as a homicide prosecutor, and I had the distinct pleasure of meeting Michael's dad when I presented on hate crimes at the Justice and Disparity Conference sponsored by the NAACP. So I don't know how I ended up in the position that I became, I guess, an expert on the laws on the books in Iowa, other than it is my expertise. And I've also had the opportunity to prosecute a murder myself out of Burlington against a gender fluid teen, a Black teen named Kadari Johnson. And that was definitely motivated not by race, but by his gender identity. And again, another area where we don't have any protections for trans or gender queer people in Iowa as a violation of individual rights, meaning a hate crime. In Iowa, we talked about this, that you could threaten a lynching upon a person and do so because of their race. That is not a hate crime in Iowa. It is not. And I was thinking about that with the complete terrorist acts of the 18-year-old white male that caused...
Buffalo.
The wreckage in Buffalo yesterday, including the security guard that was there, Mr. Salter. So we know that certainly that was racially motivated, just listening to the facts and hearing about the facts, reading those on the radio. And I just was thinking about this as I was getting on my plane. You know, that is not a hate crime in Iowa. So there are only 4 crimes in Iowa for which our legislature has said you can receive enhanced punishments or penalty sentences if your actions are motivated by race. And murder is not one of them.
Exactly.
Murder is not one of them, Luana. And that is as much as protecting, we look at the gap in no protections for trans people, but to think that we have a hate crime if it's you do property damage, if you make a threat against the individual, if you commit an assault. Well, those assaults, they're misdemeanors,
Right.
or they might be like all the way up to a C felony, which would be meaning 0 time in jail, probation up to 10 years, for which a person might serve, maybe 4 to 5, 3 to 5. And then there are just enhancements on top of those, all crimes that are already on the books. But hate crime is not its own offense in Iowa. Right. And if you commit a lynching, if a racially motivated murder, that is not a hate crime in our state.
Right.
And because of my background as a homicide prosecutor and working, investigating and prosecuting those cases, and also working, with the legislature, I know that that's one of my priorities, to bring a voice to that and really see that we can move some change. We have got to fix our hate crime laws.
Yes, thank
Laura,
you.
I want to say this really quick because I know we're getting ready to run out of time. It goes by fast. But your office, the Polk County Attorney's Office, will affect Black folks' lives, hands down. Your office will affect poor people's lives, hands down. What will people be able to look for your leadership in this office to be different from what we've seen here in the past? Because it hasn't been a friend of Black folks in the past.
Right.
So I joined the office in the civil division last year. I have a 30-year career outside of the Polk County Attorney's Office. I'm a generation younger than John Sarcone, and I'm female. So there's some differences. And I want to stand and believe that the best way to be guaranteed is to look at my own independent record. It's very public. It's subject to your review and your scrutiny. If I was running against me, I'd try to make me John Sarcone. But I vow to you that those issues that are important to your community, and also the fact that we look at the rising population of Black folks in this state, you are gaining voice and power, and you need to be at the table. And I give you my commitment to that. We're talking about generational change and a real change, and I know that my experience can be wielded and used for good of everybody, but good of your community, for your community, Rob.
Good.
Are we wrapping it up?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it goes by so fast, doesn't it?
Thanks, Alana. Very fast.
Yeah. Can you tell people really quick how to find you, how to get more information?
Yes. You can go to my website, roanforpolkattorney.com. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter. And again, I want to tell Kimberly Graham, congratulations on showing up. We've been in this for a year, and we usually acknowledge to each other, the women are working, and we're just going to keep on going. And just everybody get out there and vote. And thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
I will say I've seen your ads as well. I just was riding down Merle Hay and saw some Laura Rome yard signs. I've seen them as well. So I see some folks out working. I really do.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for tuning in again. I cannot stress this enough. The Polk County Attorney's race is so important. I would almost go as far as to say it is imperative to our lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Here in this county.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know about you, but I would rather have a friend in that office in case I ever see myself in front of a judge for whatever the reason is. And so,
or even on the other side as a survivor.
yes,
you know.
Yes, that is very true.
Absolutely. You
very
want
true.
your prosecutor to be your friend. If you are sitting there and your loved one has been murdered, and that is likely to happen as homicides have risen in Iowa up over 60%. And the majority are from our community. Yeah.
Those of you watching, thank you so much. Again, you've heard from Kimberly Graham and you've heard from Laura Rome. Thanks so much. And we'll be right back with our other host to close out the rest of this show. Thanks for tuning in. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Urban Impact Show, man. I'm super excited. Look, I got all my women.
The gang's all here.
Got all my women.
Your women.
Man up here.
When is Lewis coming back? Yeah, we need Lewis back in. What's happening? Lewis.
I feel so unappreciative. I feel how Madison feel when she be talking to me. You know? Hey, but no, in all seriousness, y'all, look, this show has been awesome. We've interviewed some candidates today that we really want you to take a look. Please, I'm going to say this. The show does not endorse. The Urban Impact Show does not endorse.
Right.
But as individuals, we can, based upon, and you can see that on our individual pages.
Yes. Right.
So the Urban Impact Show itself, we bring on any and everybody. Doesn't matter whether you're black, white, Republican. Doesn't matter whether you're Indian, Asian, whether you're Democrat, Libertarian, Green Party, Tea Party. Don't matter.
All the parties.
Don't matter. You can come on this show and say what you got to say. Right. Now, don't be upset if I say something back, because don't nobody own me.
He will do that too.
Yes,
because I will. Also, you can go and check my page. So come tomorrow, because early voting starts on Wednesday. Right. Come tomorrow, you're going to see me have a list of people on my page who I believe you should be voting for come June 7th, or actually starting May 18th, all the way up. So let me be clear on this. The final day to vote is June 7th.
Correct.
The earliest day to vote is May 18th.
Right.
Go and vote as early as you can.
Yes.
So that we can avoid the lines or any excuse on May 7th, because we need every single vote. It is it is crucial. So crucial right now, y'all.
It really
Roe
is.
v. Wade, they've already taken up a quasi vote in the Senate, in the U.S. Senate, where it came out 49-51. If you do not elect a Democrat to office from the state of Iowa, you will be looking at an overturn of Roe versus Wade.
Correct.
And that does not just include abortion rights. So please hear me clearly. Roe v. Wade, abortion rights takes the
center.
Yeah, it takes the center of it.
Right.
But it is way bigger than that, and I need you to please pay attention to this. I know sometimes we hear from you all that all this doesn't matter, nobody cares, nobody hears us. We hear you.
It matters.
And this matters for sure. Our children will be affected by when Eli turns 16 and start driving. If he gets pulled over, I'd rather have somebody like Kim in the office as a Polk County attorney.
Yes,
because I know it's going to push our police force to treat him fairly.
Right.
Y'all have no idea how crucial these races are, man.
Right.
No idea. So please go out and vote starting May 18th. Check my page tomorrow, Rob Johnson. And I'm going to have on there a list of people. My team has done the work. We have gone, researched people, pulled up things, and there's going to be some names on there you probably didn't even know about because we haven't necessarily talked about them. But go on my page tomorrow, your district, the county, your state, obviously Deidre for governor.
Obviously.
I'm probably going to get in trouble for that from our Republican viewers, but that's okay. I'll take the heat. Just email Dewana.
Not fooling with y'all, don't y'all?
Email Dewana. So I'm done. So thank y'all so much for tuning into the Urban Impact Show. This has been such a great show, and this is going to be continuing all the way through June 5th. What's up, Britt?
Sure. I love this time of year or season. I think that, viewers take this time to really get to know who our candidates are. I think in our community, lots of times people aren't voting because they don't know who to vote for. They don't know about the candidates. So use this as a great opportunity to get to know the candidates and be ready to, early vote. I know that I'm not going to wait till June 7th. They open May 18th. Between that first week, get out there and start voting.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not going to wait till June 7th either. I'm going to get it out of the way because sure enough, June 7th will come and something will come up and I'll have to do this and that and I won't make it. So in order to avoid that, I'm going to try to go Wednesday and get it out of the way. I love that you are putting candidates on your page. Yes. I'm going to do the same.
Yeah, I'm going to list who I think you should vote for.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to list who I'm voting for.
I think.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Individually. Yes. And they may or not be the same people, So you can always, if you're a Facebook friend of mine, you'll see it there, probably on my Insta as well. So,
and we can share it to the No Justice, No Peace page.
That's a good idea.
So we can share it to that page as well.
Yeah, I cannot share it to the coalition page.
And I can't share it to this page.
Right, exactly.
So it will be shared on the No Justice, No Peace, Justice, No Peace page.
Yeah.
If you're not friends with either of us, you can go to the No Justice, No Peace page to see who we're selecting, who we believe you should be voting for starting May 18th.
Yeah, and first, 1 minute. Okay, we're hurrying up. Why aren't you a friend of ours? But anyway, I digress. I just want to stress how important this is again and how great this show is that we're educating folks, particularly that Polk County attorney race, because it probably is, I will say, the most important race. They're all important, but that one directly affects our lives and the work that I do personally. So.
Yeah, and I will be waiting till June 7th to vote because I'm a last-minute person. So I already know.
You got to keep it real.
Balance.
Keep it real.
Where to vote, go to the
Polk County Auditor's Office. If you don't know where to vote, Polk County, Iowa. What did you say? Polk County?
PolkCountyIowa.gov.
PolkCountyIowa.gov.
Then the county auditor's page.
County auditor's page.
Where your precinct is at, so you can vote.
Or
you can show up to our
find all of that.
You can see where you go to vote.
Get all of that to go vote. I'm waiting till June 7th. You can join me that day too. I'm a last minute person. But I want to just say this because this is a statistic that always gets me, and it may have changed, but this was in 2021, that 25% of the prison population in the state of Iowa is Black.
Right.
Black folks only make up 4% of the population here in Iowa.
Wow. The entire state.
The entire state.
Number 7 in the country.
And we're number 7 in the country. And disproportionality.
And we just dropped from number 3.
Yes. So I just want people to just hear that. 25% of the prison population is Black. We make up 4% of the population here in the state of Iowa.
Correct.
So when we keep talking about why the Polk County attorney's race is so important, it's because of that fact.
Think about those raids. When they did those raids on people's
God.
On November 18th.
They were completely militarized. People were traumatized.
Polk County attorney's office.
It was ran through that office.
Yeah, it was.
And this is, my point is, I'm just tired. From seeing the stuff that we've seen in New York yesterday, to seeing things happen in California and all of these things of this hate of people who look like me. It just gets really tiring of trying to convince people that don't look like me that something is wrong.
Right.
If you can just believe from a human standpoint to ask yourselves this question, would we want another human being to be treated that way?
Right.
It's not even talk about Black, whatever.
Exactly.
Would you want another human being to be treated that way?
Exactly.
Think about that. And I want you all to think about that when you go vote, how these candidates are treating you, just even as a human being.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the people who are showing up. Pay attention to the people who are spending time in your spaces.
Right.
It speaks value.
Yes.
Exactly.
What we're doing here at the Urban Impact Show is just a little bit of something because we believe it's important that you're educated. But what you're seeing with NAACP and other spaces and places, watch who's showing up.
Right.
It means that they care about the things that are going on with your culture.
Yeah.
If they don't show up, don't give them the time of day.
Right.
I say that as a person who has been a candidate, who knows that I will go show up in every space.
Yeah.
Even if they don't like me, because they need to hear my voice.
Exactly.
And when they don't show up, it's telling you a story. So I'm going to stop because I know time is winding up. But today, I am just tired of seeing the negative. I'm tired of watching us as Black people being drugged through the mud, and I'm tired of people beating up on us.
Right.
And so you have an opportunity on June 7th to speak up so that people can stop beating on us. So keep watching us this month as we continue to talk to candidates, as we continue to let them tell their stories, tell you why you should vote for them. So make sure to join us next week on the Urban Impact Show.
Have a good week.